secure facility requirements evolve, teams need to consider more than just the SCIF itself. From Wi-Fi and emergency radio communications to fire alarm systems, decisions made early in the design process can have a big impact on SCIF projects. Today, I'm sitting down with Greg Brenner to talk about what this means for your facility. Greg, to start, can you talk a little bit about why Wi-Fi, emergency radio communications, and fire alarm system requirements are becoming bigger considerations in designing SCIFs? Like, why now?
This is nothing that was required 20 years ago. And so there's more focus because a lot of the legacy facilities didn't have to care for it. They didn't have to think about it. And so while we're doing all these mandated upgrades, it's becoming a larger focus and challenge overall.
That makes sense. And what specifically are these mandated upgrades focusing on related to Wi-Fi? Let's start there.
First of all, Wi-Fi has never been allowed in secure facilities. However, the placement of Wi-Fi devices around secured facilities is now getting more attention. So when we are planning spaces or looking at facilities that we might be going into, we need to consider things more than just how to design the SCIF perimeter. We need to consider what's around the SCIF, whether it's, customer space, owner space, or other lease space if you're in a leased facility.
And what about ERCC requirements?
In ERCC in high-rise buildings, it's constant, it's always on. In a SCIF facility, you have to have the ability to turn it off. And when there's an emergency response, have the ability to turn it on and create awareness that that system is now engaged. So you can shut down any of the high side communications. So that requires really close coordination with the facility security officers and the agencies that are supporting or sponsoring those SCIFs and the local fire marshal's office.
And of course, last but not least, can you talk a little bit about fire alarm requirements?
All fire alarm systems are UL labeled. And so the filters that had been used for years when required weren't UL labeled. And we have faced challenges in certain jurisdictions based on using a non-UL labeled device on a UL labeled system. So we have to get creative in enabling our SCIF facilities to tie into the base building fire alarm system, which can be costly.
Why does it matter to get this right?
Well, first of all, it's about life safety. Right? So when you're thinking about life safety, no matter what the facility, it's got to be right. It's got to be reliable. It's got to be tested, and it's got to be understood on how to operate. And if you don't have that awareness and understanding within the specific jurisdiction, you can find yourself in, a lot of rework at the end of a project when you're trying to get final fire marshal approval to occupy.
Life safety, first and foremost. That makes sense. What is the business impact of the rework that you're talking about?
The impact of rework on a client's business is tremendous. It's about cost and it's about schedule. These facilities take a lot of time to get accredited at the end of the day. And then any rework after that is another process. Finding the time without impacting the program's operation can be very costly, whether it's weekend work or out of hours work. And some facilities work 7/24. So, then you're talking cleared personnel that need to come in. And that's a whole nother level of cost.
And what advice, if any, do you have for the people watching this today?
Make sure your design team and construction team are well versed in ICD 705 plus TEMPEST and are experienced within the past 18 months because there's so many requirements that are being enforced that are not documented yet. But also making sure that you have an early outreach to the fire marshal's office in your jurisdiction to make certain that they understand what the project is.
Thanks so much, Greg.